If you haven't been to an ASR Flash class, this is designed to be a really quick, bite-sized, literally a Flash class by its definition and name. Uh, we are going to hit some big points and probably worthy of a deep dive later on. But this is to give you, it's kind of like drinking from a fire hose. Boom, you get the information, and then you can go on with your day. It's not designed to be a time killer. Sometimes you do have to slow it down, do workshops and such, but that's not what the flash classes are designed to do. They're designed to just, give you enough to be dangerous, and then hopefully you'll ask the right questions later. So, let's jump right into it. Today we're talking about strategic scheduling. Guys, this is not a productivity hack. That's not what this is. This isn't a productivity hack. This is about using your calendar as an actual business tool to protect what is actually going to grow your business and create income for you. Bottom line. And we'll talk about how we do that. So I want to start with a question. Who here has ever been exhausted at the end of a long day, but you really don't know what you did? You're like, what did I accomplish? What do I have to show for all these calories spent? And it happens, right? I know it's happened to me plenty of times. And a lot of times an outside observer would say, "Oh, they're not getting it done. They're just looking at the results. These people aren't being lazy. Agents aren't being lazy. They're just busy reacting all day, reacting to all the things that come up and responding." And we're going to try to fix that today. At least give you some tools, some insights about how to prevent that from happening. To-do list. Throw away your to-do list. Throw away your to-do list. They fail. They feel productive, but they're very deceptive. They don't what we tend to do with to-do lists is we tend to do the easy task first, and they crowd out the important ones that actually need to get done. So while we may have 10 things on our list and we've crossed off, five of them, we pick the low-hanging fruit because we want to give ourselves that dopamine hit. We want to give ourselves that sense of accomplishment, that feeling like, ooh, look at me, look what I did. I think it was Mark Twain that said, Eat the frog first." The first thing you should do in the day, do the hard thing, right? Most people don't do that. So I'm telling you, throw away your to-do list. It's not going to let you, it's reactionary instead of intention. It's not done with intentionality. Instead, time block. Now, what is time blocking anyways? This thing that who here has heard of time blocking before? Maybe you're not using it. Even if you are using it, almost everybody's heard of it. Most people don't do it the right way. And most people don't have an accurate definition of it. So not going to insult anybody's intelligence, but kind of, briefly stepping into the elementary, the building blocks of time blocking. It's just a block of time that you do your thing, your project, your activity. Instead of working from a to-do list, you're blocking off periods of time in a day, 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever it may be. And the idea here is that you say, this is my time for that. You put up walls around it, you safeguard it. You make sure you're focused during that time. You minimize distractions. You turn off your phone. I can't turn off my phone. I need the notifications on. I'll silent my phone. Okay, I'll make that deal. I will always silent my phone. It helps you proactively, and the idea here is proactively manage your day, prioritizing those high value tasks. And it's about having a structured approach. You're not haphazard. You're not running around. You're not reactionary, where you're going to be exhausted at the end of the day, like we talked about. Happens sometimes, right? Why even do time blocking? It shifts you from that reactive chaos into something that is proactive. It's a focused task, and it's designed to align with the things that are actually going to bring your business, actually grow your business, bring you income. Who's been reactive to things before? Things, all the phone calls, text messages come in, the fire, and it's such we wear it as a badge of honor. Oh, I'm putting out fires. Not a good thing usually, right? Most times, not all the time. Sometimes things happen. Most times, those types of situations can be avoided. Just an ounce of prevention, right, is worth a pound of cure. Being reactive sucks. I've had to be reactive before, and I don't want to sit here and say, oh, it's all your fault. Sometimes things happen that are literally outside of your control. We have controllables and uncontrollables in life. It'd be like that sometimes. But what we don't want to do is we want to try to minimize as much as possible this idea of being reactive. Reactive work is responding all day. You're responding, you're replying. Let me reply to this email. I would say instead, time block a chunk of time on your calendar to respond to all those emails. The best way that I know to do it is to do that at the end of your day because replying to an email takes very little cognitive function. Your brain power is depleted at the end of the day. You want to reserve those cognitive resource intensive heavy tasks for early on in the day when you're more fresh. Replying to an email, text, whatever it may be, that's light work, as the kids say. And I would say you do that at the end of the day. But so we don't want to be reactive. Proactive work, that's deciding in advance. How am I going to do this? How am I going to tackle this? What am I going to do? Time blocking is how you shift control back to your day. Your day is either going to manage you or you're going to manage your day. And that's the bottom line. And it can happen to anybody. It's happened to me as well. You just kind of lose control of things. Important, important, important. I want, if there's only one thing that you take out of this conversation today, I want you to remember this. Every single thing that you do, every activity, if we break it down very broadly, now this is very broadly 30,000-foot view, is going to fall into either one of two categories. And if you miss this distinction, time blocking will fail you no matter what. So your time is either going to be spent on doing income producing activities or a non-income producing activity. Somebody went, no, no comments. You said, are you telling me that you'll raise your hand if you have something to say, Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I heard a I heard a noise, so I just wanted to make sure I was responding to that. Income producing and non-income producing, very broadly speaking. That what just happened? Oh, we learned this the other day, didn't we? I was on and I figured, yeah, did y'all know that if you give a thumbs up,
Hmm.
everybody's
That's
laughing at
also on
me.
the iPhones too.
Everybody's laughing at me because I'm the new kid and I don't understand like that these look at that. Okay, sorry. Is there another finger we can give? Okay, polling the audience here. Give me your thoughts. Is showing a home, if I'm showing a house to a potential buyer, is that income producing activity or no?
No,
Lisa says yes. Kayla says no. Andrew, do you want to chime in or abstain?
No.
We say no. Okay, what about writing an offer, a contract on a home?
no,
Lisa says yes. Kayla says no. Andrew?
Yes.
Andrew says yes. What about doing photos for a listing? Will we categorize that as income producing or non-income producing? Lisa says yes. Kayla.
N-
no.
Kayla says no. I've already given this rant to Kayla. That's why she's answering the way that I want her to
No.
answer. So I'm going to say no myself personally to all of these. Now, I will hear your objections. I'll have the argument with you, a friendly, spirited debate, right? I would say no. I would argue no. This is not none of these things. Showing a home, writing an offer, doing photos for a listing. I would say these are not income producing activities. And people, I can hear people screaming in their heads right now. But Jeremy, why? Bottom line is this: is it going to generate new business? This is business that you have already won. This is business that you have already earned. Now, do you need to protect that? Absolutely. I'm not downplaying the importance of servicing the client. That's a conversation for a different day. Service the client. Give them immense value when you're showing a home, when you're writing an offer, when you're doing, marketing for their listing. But this is business that you're already done. They protect future income, but they do not generate new income. Now, the danger with these activities is letting them consume your income producing time. Many, many agents, especially new agents, they come in the door, they get a couple of clients, and they are working hard. They're doing the right thing for their client, they're servicing their client. They're bringing value. They're giving them all of their fiduciary duties. They're putting their needs before their own, and they're servicing the hell out of it. And whenever they stay focused here, are they generating any new business? No. They're not continuing to feed their pipeline. So they finish their closing, they take great care of them, they get the Google review, they do all the things, and they're a rock star in the eyes of that person. And then they turn and look, and there's nobody else to help. And then they have to go back to work, and now there's 30 days gone because they have to go find the person and bring them in. So their business goes like that. One and one and one and one and one and one. You're not going to be as effective as you possibly could be. Could you run a business like that? Sure. It was not going to be as profitable as it could be, however. You're going to be able to afford some beer money, you know? You'll maintain your license. If you don't feed your pipeline with new business, then you won't have a business. I'm gonna say it again. If you don't feed your pipeline with new business, you won't have a business. So let me ask you some other questions. Cold calling, would you categorize that as income producing or not?
Yes.
I would say so. How about hosting an open house?
Yes.
We have a potential to gain new business there, right? Okay, so we're
Mhm.
starting to see the shift, right? You may argue with me. I'm
Yep.
pretty firm in this philosophy, but I'll hear argument. Oh, is it going to give us a thumbs up? No, come on, all right, give us a thumbs up emoji, man. I think because you're sitting back like 6 light years away from your monitor. I don't know.
It's not doing mine either.
I don't know.
I think because you're the host.
Does it only
So,
do for the host?
mhm.
Well, that's annoying. That's all right. I can be like, everybody, give me a thumbs up. Let's go. We got it. If it doesn't lead to an appointment, if it doesn't lead to something like, a consult or a sit down for new business, I would argue that it's not income producing.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the bottom line with that. Time is money. You need to protect your income time first, your income activities first. And I want to kind of drill this concept home before I get into the actual mechanics of time blocking. Okay, wait, hopefully I've sold you on time blocking. I've sold you on the difference between how to use your time. You need to make sure you're balancing income producing activities versus non-income producing. And I talked about the danger of allowing those non-income producing activities to crowd out your calendar. So this is me driving it home and stomping my foot and setting off dynamite. If your income producing time isn't protected, everything else is going to expand to fill your day. This is why agents feel really, really busy, but they are stuck. And they are busy. They're busy bodies. They're expending enormous amounts of calories, but they're just not focusing on the right tasks. Time is money. We've all heard it before. There's a reason why this, has kind of echoed timelessly. Sorry. All right, so what is it that what do I time block? Bottom line is whatever is important to you. If something matters, it needs to go on your calendar. I always tell people if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. And this could be anything. And just kind of zooming out and taking a holistic approach, this is more than just real estate. Let's be real. You have a life, business, family, health, any other growth. The point is this should all be intentional. Remember, though, as you're building out your time blocking, income producing and non-income producing, there are things that are intangible. People have spiritual needs, people have mental health needs, there are physiological needs, and a lot of times those come together. Brittany's a big gym rat. I'm sure she will tell you that at the end of her workout session, she probably feels much better mentally, emotionally, spiritually. All of this dovetails. So take care of yourself, but also recognize what is going on your calendar. So how do we actually do it? I argue that first you want to time block your annual events, the things that are big, the things that happen once a year, vacations, holidays, business planning. And yes, but you should actually have a time of your year, I would say probably around November timeframe that you are doing your business planning for the next year. That should be on there. And sometimes that might be a couple of days because you maybe need to talk to different people or whatever. Put it on your calendar. It needs to go there. Be intentional about it. Doing taxes, conferences, whether it's business or self-development, client engagements. By that, what I mean is I make it a point to have specific time that I will, especially certain times of the year during the winter holidays, I will make sure that all of my holiday cards are going out. I will call my gold group. I call them my gold group. These are like my core, like people that I've closed with or my besties. Uh, it's sometimes it takes a couple of days, but that's marked on my calendar. And take care of yourself. Dental appointments, doctor's appointments, whatever, community events. For me, I don't know if you know, I'm involved with the Reverend Warriors, nonprofit dedicated to preventing veteran suicide. There are events that happen throughout the year. That's going on my calendar. And sometimes people call me and I'm walking down the street with some really short shorts on and some body armor, and I'll take a phone call, but there's not much else getting done that day, because that's hugely important to me. That goes on my calendar. I'm already starting to map out 2026 because they're starting to release those events. But whatever's important to you, put it on your calendar. So start with your annual events and then move on to those other recurring events, those regular things. Perhaps you want to put ASR live every first and third Thursday at 10 a.m. Oh, we threw that out there. Wait for it. God, it takes so long. There we go. That might be a thing that you decide is important enough for you to time block on your calendar. I hope it is. I hope it gives you enough value. Things that happen monthly, weekly, or whatever, church, spiritual time, self-improvement time, date night, family time. In my home, we call it Faith Family Movie Night on every Saturday night. You know, we watch some stupid kid movie that I try to stay awake through. Uh, but that's important for myself, for the kids. Gym, baseball games, soccer games. I'm a soccer dad, so oh my God, Saturdays are soccer. Lead generation. Is that going to be a regular thing that you do? I hope so.
hmm
I would say you need to be doing that at least 5 days a week minimum, minimum, and probably for at least 1 to 2 hours a day. Now, if you don't have that contract or that client that you're servicing or whatever, you might want to expand that to four, six, or more because you ain't got nothing else to work on. Your work is getting the work. At that point, don't treat time blocking as something that is cement. It is firm but flexible. And depending on the thing, we're going to talk a little bit about having non-negotiables. But when I talked about, okay, if you don't have any business, make it 4, 6 hours or even more. Well, if you start getting business, maybe you're like, okay, I need to cut that down to X number of hours so that I can continue to service the client. That's fine, but don't remove it entirely. You may adjust it, but don't remove it entirely. Time needs to be set aside for marketing. I have days that, and I'm really trying to. This is kind of a challenge for me. I'm gonna let me be vulnerable for a minute. I have recognized that I have really, really become poor, whereas I used to be really good at generating content for social media. I have really gotten bad about it. And it's because I have gotten so busy doing the things that I forgot that I should be telling everybody about it. And so now I'm trying to be really intentional about creating content, making marketing videos. And even if it's you can't see, I have a green screen behind me that I bought, and now I can just do it in my office. But do what you need to do though. So I have to check myself here and say, okay, so even the teacher recognizes that they have mistakes and they have opportunities to learn, right? So just being vulnerable there. I've had to change my marketing and give time for that. I talked about responding to emails, different things like that. That's going to probably be something you want to time block because if not, maybe a couple days will go by and you're like, oh crap, I haven't even looked at my email and oops, my bad. This was Monday and it's Thursday now and I haven't sent anything out. Let me get back. Let me fix that. Have your non-negotiables. Okay. Absolutely have your non-negotiables. Things that do not move unless something truly, truly urgent happens. If let me think of maybe an example. So an example for me of a non-negotiable is I have a time usually from 9 to 10 that I will do what I call my 3, 2, 1, go. And Brittany actually taught this to me. And that's time that I'm connecting with clients, I'm reaching out to people. And if I have a client that says, "Hey, I've got a listing, but I can only meet at 9 o'clock," I'm sorry, I have an appointment. I have an appointment with myself. Now, if you are going to move it, make sure you just shift it up and down on your calendar. And I'll talk about erase and replace in a little bit, but have your non-negotiables, your things that you say, I cannot do that. You have to protect your income producing activities. You have to put the guardrails up. Because again, if you don't, you're not going to have a business. So annual events, have your recurring events, and then you want to put in your one-time events into your calendar. Add these as they come up. Be really stingy here. Be really, really picky here, guys. Nobody, hard truth, nobody is stealing your time. You're giving it away. And it's so profound. It's such a like simple little thing to say, but the like one day a couple years ago that really finally hit me, and I was like, man, I have no one to blame but myself because I had one of those situations where I was exhausted at the end of the day and I couldn't figure out why. And then I started doing the thing that we as people do. We start blaming the people around us that are taking our energy or taking our time or whatever. And I was meh, 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 meh. I was complaining about it and all bitter and angry. And I realized, man, you know what, Jeremy? This is nobody's fault but your own. Nobody stole your time. Nobody took anything away from you that you didn't give up freely. So be picky about what it is that you add those one-time events. Before saying yes, I am going to challenge you to ask these 3 questions. Does it have to be done? Does it have to be done now? And does it have to be done by me? This is the last part of that. Does it have to be done by me is especially important as you begin to scale your business. There are certain things that only you can do. There are other things that you're going to be able to task out I had a mentor tell me one time, you've got to delegate to elevate. And that same mentor told me, Jeremy, do what you do best and then delegate the rest. We love these little jingles, but and I remember them because of that. Does it have to be done? Does it have to be done now? Does it have to be done by me? If it Let that be the litmus test. If it fails that, then maybe you need to seriously question if you allow yourself to give that time away. Some time blocking essentials, some things that you need to keep in mind as you're building this out, as you're working your calendar. Number one, commit to the block. Commit to the block of time. That's a sacred time. Treat that as such. If you're doing something from 10 to 11, don't let the clock strike 10 and then say, okay, let me go to the bathroom. Let me get my last cup of coffee. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me finish up this last email. Well, by the time you do that, guess what? It's going to be 10:30. Turn off the notifications on your phone. Get serious about it. Protect it. Guard that time because people are going to pull on you. Remember, you're only giving it away. So commit to the block. If you erase, you must replace. If something happens, and sometimes it is, so if it meets that litmus, does it have to be done? Does it have to be done now? Does it have to be done by me? If yes, and you need to move something, make sure that all you're doing is moving, not removing. Oh, that just came to me. That was pretty good. Move, don't remove. Maybe I need to say instead of erase, maybe move, don't remove. I like that one. So yeah, if you have to cancel, like things happen, right? Emergencies, unforeseen conflict, just make sure that you move it to another slot. I like using Google Calendar, a digital calendar. We can make an argument digital versus analog or paper or whatever it may be. I like using a digital calendar because all I have to do is click, hold, and I will drag that down to a spot that is empty on my calendar. If you have a paper calendar, you're erasing, tearing your paper in the process, whatever it may be. Again, the best calendar is the one that you're actually using. But I would say that you're probably going to be a little bit more effective and efficient if you are using a digital calendar. Focus on the priorities. When you are replacing a block, ask yourself if it's truly a priority. Remember, go back to that test. Does it have to be done? Does it have to be done now? Does it have to be done by me? If it doesn't meet that, then consider postponing it or maybe delegating it out. Push it out, and on that note, just a quick little side note. Who here has ever heard of Fiverr? I can't remember if it's two E's or two R's. Fiverr.com. If you haven't heard of Fiverr.com, it is a great site. It's basically a collection of freelancers, anything that you can probably think of, everything from coding to video editing to admin work. I've hired virtual assistants off of Fiverr. You can find them there. You can find them there. A lot of times it's very low cost. A lot of these people are located in the Philippines or other areas where the dollar is very strong and goes a long way. So our purchasing power is going to be a lot to them. So consider delegating, and there's a resource for you. This keeps you aligned with your goals, making sure that you're focusing on those high value activities. Avoid the domino effect. Okay, rule number 4. I've got 5 for you. So we've got commit to the block. If you erase, you must replace, or move, don't remove. Protect your priority. And now we're talking about avoiding the domino effect. When you are moving things around on your calendar, avoid pushing multiple tasks into future slots, which can overwhelm your schedule later. What I have to do sometimes is maybe, with those things that are not part of my non-negotiables, I'll move it to next week, even if it's just like a certain like thing that I have to do that's not time sensitive. Move it to a realistic time where it can actually be completed without jeopardizing other commitments. And be careful because sometimes you might have a cascading effect where one thing runs 30 minutes over, which pushes the next thing and then go so on and so forth. So be mindful of that, which really kind of takes me to my next point. Build gray space. I call it gray space in your calendar. This is a buffer time. Whenever I first started time blocking, I would time block like this. From 8 to 9, I'm doing this. From 9 to 10, I'm doing this. From 10 to 11, I'm doing this. From 11 to 12, I'm doing this. It never works out that way because by the time I finish my, second hour, like let's say I went from 8 to 9 and then 9 to 10, well, at 10 o'clock, I've got missed calls, I've got text messages, I've got things that I actually need to give some little time to, right? So I would respond to that. Now I'm 15, 20, 30 minutes into my next activity and everything's getting pushed down, everything's cascading, it's getting knocked down. Build buffer time in your schedule to allow for overruns, to allow for travel time, to allow for you to quickly respond back to that text message or whatever it may be. My own personal rule is 30 minutes before and after. I have found that allows me, and sometimes it can still be a little bit tight, but it lets me breathe and move through my day pretty comfortably for the most part. I have it set up on my schedule where I cannot, nobody else can schedule me even before 30 minutes before or after. It won't allow it to happen. I have rules set up on my calendars that just prohibit it. And that's the best way to live your life and to manage your calendar. So build the gray space, at least 15 minutes. I argue 30 minutes before and after. You're gonna need to use the bathroom at some point. Okay. You might have to eat, you know? So give yourself time for those things. Common mistakes, the oopsies that I see a lot of times. People will underestimate the time that something might take. Don't cram too much into your schedule. Time blocking is going to be most effective whenever you're working with realistic estimates. Don't say, "Oh, I can get it done. I think we can do it." No, you can't. No, you can't. I'm not saying that you're not capable. You're probably very smart. You're very efficient. You're very effective. Things just take time and more time than you think it's going to take, you know? That's just the nature of things. That's how it goes. Uh, I, whenever my wife and I were planning a vacation, and we will reverse plan it. We'll do it the right way. We'll say, okay, we want to be there at noon. It takes 4 hours, so we need to leave at 8, and all the things. Well, we're probably going to have to stop for the kids and blah blah blah. So add another hour for that. So we need to leave at 7, and so that means we need to get up at 6 and blah, blah, blah. Okay, we reverse plan. We go back, and then what I do from there is that if she says we need to leave at 6 or we need to get up at 5, I'm like, okay, cool, add an hour to it. We're gonna get up an hour before that because I guarantee something is going to happen. So my rule, whenever I'm leaving, whatever time my wife says we need to get up, I'm like, nope, we need to get up 1 hour before that. And guess what? We always leave at the right time because we got up an hour early. We gave ourselves more time than we thought it was going to take. So underestimating your task time is something that almost always happens. So don't underestimate your task time. Be generous with it. Give yourself enough time to finish that thing. Number two that I see is a lack of flexibility. Allow room for those interruptions. That speaks to that idea of the gray space, right? Especially if you're working in a dynamic environment. If you're working in an office environment, a lot of times people would come to my office and be like, "Hey, Jeremy, blah blah blah, XYZ, 1 2 3, whatever I may need," and they don't know that I'm in the middle of a time blocking task, and I can't get mad at them for that. So either allow room for interruptions or safeguard that time better. If I'm at the office, I'll just shut my door, and then people know, like, oh, Jeremy's working on something. So remember that gray space, allow room for interruptions, or make sure that you're safeguarding that time. Overscheduling non-working hours is something that I see a lot of people do, and this is speaking from personal experience. I did this, man, when I first started time blocking, I tried to time block like all 86,400 seconds of my day. All of it was time blocked. I was like, we're gonna eat dinner between 5 to 6, and we're gonna do this and this much for bedtime. And like, it was so stupid, my calendar. Uh, if you overplan, especially your free time, that's supposed to be time that you're unwinding, supposed to be time that is uh, unscheduled. It's too rigid and it creates more stress for you. The whole idea of time blocking is to take back your day. And and at that point, I felt like my calendar now was running my day, even in times that I'm supposed to be reading a book right now, or whatever it may be. And it was just too much. It was too much. So be careful with overscheduling your non-working hours. Might you want to make sure that you have time to, go to the gym or do whatever? Yeah, for sure. Time block that on there. But between this time and this time, I'm doing this. But uh, don't go too crazy with it, especially during your non-working hours. Otherwise, it can start to create some problems, I think, for you. It starts to feel a little bit overwhelming, you know? So. So in conclusion, kind of wrapping this up, guys, time blocking is going to be much, much greater than any to-do list that you have. Being proactive is going to be much better than being reactive. Remember, you've got two categories, very broadly speaking. You have income producing tasks and non-income producing tasks. Time block your priorities. Something else may be important to somebody else. And by that, what I mean is they might try to come into your space, but you have to time block your priority. Be careful with what you give up. Guard your time. Remember the essentials. Commit to the block, If you erase, you must replace. Focus on your priorities, avoid the domino effect, and build that gray space. And avoid those mistakes. Underestimating your task time, lack of flexibility, and then overscheduling your non-working hours. Guys, what are your questions? Or any anecdotal story you want to start. We finished this a lot earlier than I thought. I guess maybe I was going fast. Apologies if I rushed through it. I did not mean to. But so dive in here if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please. This is a discussion.
Can you show your schedule as an example if you feel comfortable with that?
Oh my Lord. Let's see if
I'm
I
a
can.
visual learner.
Yeah,
You know, I gotta have that idea.
let's see if I can. All right, let me stop sharing. Did it stop sharing?
Yes.
Okay. And let's show you a little bit about my day here.
I'll show my. I got. Is yours? Well, I know yours is digital too.
Yeah, mine's digital, and I've just got to.
But I think if I show it, it'll be back. That's probably backwards to you?
I guess I could just do that, is hold up my phone, huh?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to share this thing.
So do you have the box where you can like change the settings too, right? Because I actually use the calendar on my iPhone
Me too.
and it has the block. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah,
Like
okay.
you can choose the color, like certain things are yellow, blue, red, whatever. I'm an Apple girl too.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Yes, I like
Okay,
that.
is this showing for you?
Yes.
Okay. And so what I haven't done, so here's a great example of something that I need to do here. My 3-2-1 go is overlapping with the broker training I'm doing tomorrow, right?
Mm.
So I need to drag that now. I don't like this though right here. What you can also see is I've subscribed to different calendars. Like this is my Toastmasters, even though I have put Toastmasters myself on here. I'm subscribed to this other calendar. And here's a cool tip for you. I don't know if you know this on now I guess I'm speaking more to Andrew than anybody on the um, exit workspace of and then you can subscribe to the calendars there and it puts things on your calendar automatically.
Okay.
Oh, I
So,
like that.
mhm. But yeah, so I've got, my kid's soccer game. I've got an investor meetup tomorrow night. This is my wife's event that she sent me, but what this does is it blocks off my calendar so that I can go get my kid. Because that tells me
Okay.
like I need to go get my kid during this time and don't put anything on your calendar because you have to pick up your child, you know? So yeah, that's a little
Okay.
bit
I
about
like
mine.
that. Yes.
Let me bring this back up here and share. All right, are you guys seeing my screen now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so go on. If you have any other questions, I guess I kind of jumped to this next screen, but I want to make sure that I open it up and see if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, story time.
Just when I start my calendar, would you help me if I need help? Because I want to learn how to put those colors.
Oh, girl, yeah, that's
I'm working
easy.
from an
Yeah.
iPhone right now, so I don't know if it give me that option. I'm gonna play with it a little bit after this meeting.
Yeah,
But
I
yes.
will happily sit down and what I would like to do if anybody wants to sit down and kind of help build out their calendar, I would love to make it, maybe do this in expanded form
Mm-hmm.
in a workshop version where, maybe we do take 2 or 3 hours with it. And, but I want to try, if we can, to stack people in the room together. Again, this is me trying to guard my time because if I put two people in a room, then that means I save myself that many hours than doing that one activity twice. If you're
Yes,
comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with it.
Okay.
The more the merrier.
It won't give the thumbs up. Man, that's so sad. Lisa's trying. Oh, there it goes. It took a while.
Oh no, that was you.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Nada. Okay. Well, coming up next week, no, 2 weeks from today, and every third Thursday from now until whenever, forever, we have our Think Tank Thursdays. So the flash classes on the first Thursday is designed to be this right here. A quick flash class, a quick, here's some value, hopefully this works for you. Cool. The Think Tank Thursdays are designed to be more of a mastermind, a brainstorming. Bring your problems, bring your questions. Let's unpack it. Let's go over whatever is troubling you, whatever the problem is, whatever, if you're working a problem, if you have a deal that's going south, whatever it may be. It's just designed to be kind of open and free like that. The rules are there are no rules. We can talk about anything. And those are sometimes good because you're going to learn from other people's problems. It's and I don't know if you've noticed this about me or not. I will freely share my failures and my mistakes. I'm pretty open about that, and it's because I have had so many great mentors and coaches that gave me their failures as lessons, and it's going to be a lot cheaper to learn from somebody else's mistakes than make them on your own. And I try to give you guys that. So maybe somebody's going through something and we're going to talk about it. And then you might even not have something to contribute that day. But just by being a fly on the wall, you're going to go, don't ever want to do that. You learn from somebody else's mistake. So if you so desire, scan that QR code right there, and that will take you to our Facebook event. You can, in the spirit of what we're talking about today, you can link your Facebook events to your calendar and add it directly from your Facebook events to your calendar, and it'll be there. And now that time will be blocked off for you. If you have questions about things we have coming up, or if you want to join us on our Facebook, if you scan this QR code right here, it's going to bring you to our linked tree. And we have all of our socials are linked on there. What we're going to have soon, and this is not has not yet been published, but just as an FYI to you all, we are currently planning 1 month from today, March 5th. We're going to be, and we're pretty much, before I open my mouth here, like we're confirmed and we're going forward with this, right, Brittany?
Yes,
Okay.
March.
We are doing what I think is probably one of our best classes. I think Brittany has called it flagship before. It is our art and ethics of the buyer's consultation. We break down the buyer's consultation into a 10-step process, follow the checklist. It brings it down out of the abstract, out of the cloud, so to speak, and into something concrete in front of you that you can do. We teach that, and it's 4 hours of CE. It's actual this is a class that has been certified for continuing education by Trek. It's 4 hours. It will not be free. It will not be like this class right here. And our pricing structure is $10 per hour per continuing education credit. So it'll be a $40 class. It is hands-on, it is interactive. We're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to show you how to do it, and then you are going to do it. And we're going to place you in a place where you're going to be stretched. So get comfortable being uncomfortable. But the people that have been to this class have said that it is a phenomenal class that has changed their business. This is what I use to do my buyer consultations. For those that have sat in the room with me, you will recognize that I do what I teach. And I'm not going to go rant too much on it. I'll just simply say that since I have started, after Brittany and I together, we wrote this method borrowing some from the ninja selling concept for those that are going through our ninja selling series, some from Micah, Kayla, and some of our own personal successes and failures. Since employing that, my conversion rate is north of 90% with my buyers. Over 90% of them say, I want to be a client of yours. So enough plugging that. That is coming up March 5th. It's I think gonna start at what, 9 or 10? I don't think we have hammered out the actual time on that yet.
It should be a 10 to 2.
10 to 2. Okay. I
Yeah.
guess we have and I forgot. So save the date. on that, that's going to be at the Goodwill facility off of Stan Schluter near Clear Creek, the one that just opened up recently. And we'll be pushing out something a little bit more official about that. We literally just yesterday got the confirmation back from Goodwill that we'll be able to use that space. And
Oh,
beyond that, I don't have anything for you guys. Somebody made a sound. Kayla, was that
Yes,
you?
Brittany, you were at the She Who Soars. Was it
that no,
you?
no, not that just happened, right? Like last week.
Uh-huh.
No, I was not. I was
Oh, you kind of look like her.
uh-oh. Yeah, no. I know the event you're talking about, but it wasn't
hmm
me. Yes.
Oh, okay. You kind of look like her. When I looked at the Facebook page, you kind of look just like her. That's
Uh-oh. Unless they
crazy.
threw me on a flyer, I don't know.
They set you on
But I
there.
know the event you're talking about.
hmm
Yeah,
That's good marketing to have Brittany on the flyer.
I
hmm
guess.
But
No, on
that's
I'm
exactly
talking
the type
about.
of stuff that Brittany gets into, though, for
Yeah,
sure.
so I wouldn't be surprised, or maybe if it was another event, because I was at the I spoke, it was called the Well Women's, it was called like Well Women's, it's like a year-long thing they do. But anyway, yeah, no, I do that type of stuff, but I wasn't at that event.
No, on you and Jeremy's Facebook page. You kind of look like her a little bit.
Okay.
That's crazy. Yes. I was like, I know you, but wrong person. Sorry.
No, no worries.
Any other questions, guys? Well, if you don't have anything else, I will let you all get on with your day. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with us. I hope you got some value from this. Remember, we've got next event is going to be that Think Tank Thursdays, and then we have and instead of doing another flash class in March, we're going to be doing the buyer consult course on that day. So you all take care. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye.
Brittany.
Thank you. See y'all next time.